Good morning everyone, it's Lynn from Holistic Health and Wellness. So I know I don't come in here live too often, but just really felt like today I wanted to do that and give you a few tips on some dietary changes that, for one, I made in my life, and that, you know, most of you are aware, I think, of probably what your migraine triggers are, but I just wanted to run through a few of them for you. Diet, when I changed mine, made such a huge impact in how my migraines are that I really love to share with people how you can make some dietary changes so that you can trigger your migraines less and less, because I'm all about prevention. The thing is, for me, that, you know, I had them so badly and I had them so frequently, and as I've shared before, they were almost daily, and I was pretty good on a couple of my triggers, but there were so many that I really wasn't aware of. So, you know, just wanted to give you a few tips today, because migraine and diet really can be very powerful when you get into the right eating habits. So most of you probably know that things like chocolate, cheese, even bananas and citrus, avocados, some specific fruits for some of us can really be a migraine trigger. Really hard when there are so many foods on that list that we love. You know, we tend to know more that things like foods with nitrates or processed foods, for example, bacon, hot dogs, MSG, foods that contain tyramine like the processed meats and the red wine, or even fermented and pickled foods. Those are a bit more common that we know about. Sometimes we don't even realize that there is a chemical in bananas that can have an effect for some people with their migraines. Dairy can also be a trigger. Sometimes it's because you have food sensitivities, and so some of these might even affect you where they don't affect other people. For some people, even things like onions can affect you. So, you know, however busy you are, one of my tips to people is that if you can find ways to add greens into your diet, then that's really a great way to do it. Greens are very nutritious. Lots of fiber can help you stay full longer. So, for example, if you're heating up some stew, maybe chowder, chili, or other dishes like that, warm dishes, you can slice in some things like kale and mustard greens or shards, throw them in there. They kind of get absorbed into the flavor, so you don't really necessarily notice that you're eating them, because for a lot of people they don't like to eat greens. Of course, you can throw greens into smoothies. The most natural the food is that you eat, then the less likely you are to have migraines. So a long time ago, when mine was so bad and I made my changes in how I eat, I cut out all processed foods because they do have a tendency to induce migraines. So one of the things is that when you start reading labels and you start thinking about the foods that you eat, if you go to foods in their most natural state and avoid, of course, the foods that might be a trigger. Citrus doesn't trigger migraines for me. Actually, pretty much now, I only have triggers when the weather changes. Although I did fall a few weeks ago, managed to get a concussion, and that instantly aggravated my migraines and threw me into several weeks of, well, there was an intense migraine to begin with, probably the worst I've had in 5 years, and that was followed by daily headaches for a while, and that's kind of improved now. I was using a lot of essential oils to try and feel better naturally. But you can definitely find relief or prevention from chronic migraines and chronic headaches when you ditch the processed food, and then you not only find it's a prevention, but you get to shed a few pounds and you increase your energy along the way. So that's always a really, really added bonus for us. So I know that there are differing opinions on how we eat, different opinions on what we eat, because everybody has a different reaction to different foods. And that's one of the reasons why keeping a food diary is really important, because if you keep a food diary and a food diary or journal that shows how you react when you have had a specific food, really helps hone in on what your personal triggers are. So I'm going to drop in under this a link to my free migraine diary. I would love for you to check it out and to use it for a few weeks to see if it helps you with some of your triggers, because some of them you may not have thought of before. For me, food was one of the big ones at the time, and that was why I wanted to share this with you. So I hope that you have a great day today. Happy Friday, it's almost the weekend. Thanks for being in this group with me, and I would love to encourage you and support you more. Would really appreciate you dropping some comments under this video, and share it with someone if you know someone that has migraines, and share our group with someone that you know that has migraines. The more the merrier, the more that we can chat with one another and find out from one another what's going on, then the more successful we can be as a group and as a community, helping one another with some ideas that have helped us. So have a great Friday, and I will talk to you all later. This is Lynn from Holistic Health and Wellness. Bye.